If we go back to the early 70s, this village was very different than it is now, in that there was loads of things going on. There was, I think, about 7 nightclubs and about 8 different pubs that had resident bands, and it was buzzing. Great little village. Not that it's much now, but it was then. But the crowd got together when they did get together and says, look, let's start a festival. Now, festivals were rare and far between in the 70s, but Salthill had one. And they called it, Have a Whale of a Time in Salthill. So I worked with Claude at the time, and they came to me and they said, what could the soccer club do? It was Salthill Athletic then. And I said, well, we could play soccer. So we decided we'd have a 5-a-side. And I'm standing on the hallowed ground here, the natural amphitheatre of Salthill Park. And the first year was a bit of a disaster. It wasn't great or whatever. And we said, well, for year 2, we'd really get stuck in and make it something else. So we decided we'd have a national 5-a-side. And the first year we had maybe 32 teams or something, and the next year it was doubled. Next year it was serious. We had teams from all over the place. And we were getting the first few teams from outside the country. And then it got a very serious competition, and it got a name, and you know, these things go. Now, the Whale of a Time in Salthill, well, I think that was around the time that our local merchants here got a bit, you know, Mayfainer, and the Whale of a Time was lost. Our few bobbin was lost, and as well as shooting themselves in the foot, they shot the whale into fish fingers. And but the 5 stayed going, and still is to this day. And great, great, great stories over the years of events and things that happened, and disasters and great things and funny things. Not that they were funny at the time, but it'll take a good book to get rid of them all. Few that come to mind, we had a team one year from, I think they were Swedes. They were all 6'6", blonde, played brilliant football all day Saturday. There were 3 matches. They were impeccable. Everyone says, we're going to back those tomorrow. I says, nah, I was right. The good women of Galway got hold of the 8 of them. They were never seen for the rest of the weekend. They were only gorgeous fellas, so the women got them. We never saw them again. They arrived, I think, after the final, or 2 of them came, and they looked spent forces at that stage. It was a year on the Friday evening, there was 6 inches of water up here. Would we cancel? Nah, God looked after us. Clear by the next morning. Another year we had a drought. It was like a rock. So we went to the fire brigade, we got out a hose. And up the top of Dalysford there, we decided we'd go in and get a hydrant. We didn't know a lot about it now, but we put the hose onto the hydrant and we said, go. Well, we didn't get much water onto the pitch because the whole thing blew. And Lonigan's was flooded, water rolling down the hill here. Guards had to put on their Wellingtons coming out to the service station, or the station here, see what was going on. There was great things happened over the years. I have to say I enjoyed it. Why did I stop? Maybe it was getting tired, maybe it was time for new blood. I certainly enjoyed my time doing it, but the decision I made was a fond one, in that a young lad who was playing in the under-13s came up to the control cabin and he said, what time is my next match, sir? And he says, you know, my dad, he was playing last year in the grown-ups, and my granddad, he was in the final 15 years ago. I says, oh God, 3 generations, that's enough. So it's in good hands now, and let's hope it keeps going another 40 years.